Yes, people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. I'm your host, the most of Bridge T58, here today to give you the match review for Chelsea nil, Aston Villa nil, which will mean there will be a replay at Aston Villa, I believe, in a week later or a week after. So it won't be this week, but I would assume the week after. Here we go. So, obviously, I want to say, obviously, disappointing result. I feel like, for me personally, there were a few chances that we had where we could have really been a bit more clinical. There was a lot of chances where we should have been more clinical, 110% of the time. But obviously, we go through that. But let me start, of course, with the match overall and what's taking place. So, in the first half, I thought obviously there was the injury to Levi Colwill that just happened before the game, which meant that Alfie Gilchrist had to start, and that meant that he would start at right back. Then you had Disasi and Thiago Silva as the centre backs, and then that pushed Badiashile as your left back because Chil was getting a rest because obviously I don't think he can play back-to-back games starting as of yet in his current state of form. Now, obviously, the rest of it, as you guys know, was Gallagher, Enzo and Caicedo in the three. Then you had Palmer as your striker, Madueke and Sterling. Now, in the first half in particular, I felt like we were a lot more brighter. Obviously, they had that disallowed goal, which was rightly disallowed because of the handball that took place. And I feel like for us, I'm pretty sure many of our Chelsea fans would also agree with this, which is that when it comes to set pieces, man, we're very shaky, man. It's almost like it almost looks like we're about to, obviously the opposition's about to score against us, and it's not looking good, generally speaking. So hopefully that's something that we need to improve on. I don't know who the set piece coach is, or if you even have one, but we need to start really focusing on set piece and make sure we get them as right as possible, because it's looking very scary every time we have the set piece opportunity against us personally. Now after that, I feel like we really kicked on. There's a lot of chances. Obviously you had the Gallagher chance, you then had the Cole Palmer chance. Of course, Sterling I thought was very bright, but I feel like the decision making again was kind of letting him down, because Cash knew he wanted to come inside, so he just kept on blocking him inside, in particular that both the first half and then continue on into the second half. So for me, if I'm Sterling, I personally, what I would have done is faked onto go out into the inside and push back in. That way, he doesn't know now whether or not you're gonna come in inside or outside in that case. So again, that's something again with Sterling that I feel like he should have done much better on. Obviously, he had the chance of Madueke, which I think he was able to save a brilliant save, Emi Martinez. He then obviously had another chance, which was blocked by Martinez again. So it's a couple of great chances that we had in that first half that I feel like, if we had a striker or someone in that space again, we could have really put into the back of the net, of course, but, it is what it is personally. Now, obviously, moving into the second half, I felt like in particularly that first bit, we had a lot more control. The first section of the first half, we had a bit more control. We were doing what we were doing, trying to create more chances. Obviously, we had that the big chance by Cole Palmer, which he just misses that chance, literally, which was a point blank goal that he missed. Of course, he then had obviously a few chances from Madueke, which got blocked. But then very similarly to the other game, what happened was they kind of grew towards that second part of the second half, much like they did. Although in that time, obviously, we were down to 10 men, so that allowed them to grow a bit more. Whereas now, it was a bit more different in the case that, of course, we were still 11v11, but we allowed them to grow a bit more into the game. And I feel like particularly with the Madueke loss, it became even worse, because when we had Mudryk on and Broha, it seemed like it didn't really affect the game. If anything, it made the opposition side have even more of the ball and starting to create even more chances compared to what was happening in the previously. So again, a bit worrying there, of course, if I have to say so myself. But again, won't really create that much chance. They had a few good chances. Petrovic was man of the match in that sense of like doing a lot of great saves. Obviously, Thiago Silva blocked one of those chances too. But yeah, man, of course, it's quite dangerous at all. I feel like, again, this RC right back, he seems to be a bit more better for me at the right back position, particularly when he's bombing on. He at least allows, what's it called, the winger something to overlap. And I feel like particularly Madueke, when he had Gilchrist, even though he was, of course, creating chances, I felt like it was slightly isolated, similar of Sterling. I felt like at times he was slightly isolated, and maybe having someone that was able to overlap him would have done him the world of good. However, of course, as you guys know, and as I know, what happened was, on the fact that obviously we don't have any fullbacks. Although when Chilwell came on, even then there wasn't that much going forward that was happening either. So Cash was doing a good job there at the end of the day, and he's a solid fullback at the end of the day. So is what it is, and so is Alex Moreno, and he knows the dark arts and he knows the La Liga dark arts, as I like to say so myself. But end of the game ends 0-0, and that means you have to do a replay in Aston Villa. I don't believe it'll be this week. It'll probably be next week though. However, because obviously this week we have a midweek game on Wednesday, and then we play on Sunday, and I think there's no game until the week afterwards, if I'm not mistaken. So at the end of the day, man, it's going to be a very long day indeed. So we now need to go up to all the way to Villa Park in Birmingham and get something done. Now, of course, if you have to say something, Gallagher as the striker, trying him that 10 was a striker wasn't great. I felt like, obviously, with him, I felt like, he was bringing in crosses. I like that something was doing. He just needs to keep his head up for me, personally. You got to keep your head up, big man. You need to make sure you're looking before you hit the pass. That's something that I didn't notice on the replays, that he wasn't looking, before he made that pass. And he had to do that because, at the end of the day, you need to make sure that, you're a bit aware. You need to be aware of your surroundings and who you're hitting. Otherwise, we're just throwing in crosses, inshallah. We can't be doing that at this level of the game, where we need to be winning these games and trying to reduce the number of games that we have possible too. So of course, there's that to consider as well. Now, in regards to Palmer, I think Palmer was quite good. Just again, lack of clinicalness, lack of finishing. But again, can you blame him when he's? Can you blame him in the sense that yes, he's missed some big chances, but again, he's not a striker. And currently, obviously, we don't have a striker. And when we did bring on Armando Broja, his touch just completely let him down for a possible chance for him to score. So it's not easy, man. It's not easy at the end of the day, man. And obviously Jackson still at AFCON with Senegal. Those guys are probably going to go through into the next stage. So it's going to be long day, bro. Long day. He might not be back until I think mid-Feb. Mid-Feb. So we might be out without a striker until mid-Feb unless the club have got a backup ready. Willing. You never know. Maybe is it Benzema? Is it someone else? Is it maybe possibly a Sesko that they've got in the back pocket? I don't know, bro. But right now it's not looking good, bro. I'll be honest with you, 110% of the time. Now, obviously Sterling, I've spoken about. Madueke I thought had a very good game. In my opinion, he was doing what he needed to do. Just needs to be a bit more clinical and everything like that at the end of the day. And I don't think he was that bad at all. Caicedo had a good game in my opinion. Enzo doing what he tried to do at the end of the day wasn't too bad. But again, I feel like a lot of our players today were average, like sixes or sevens, if that makes sense. You know the saying. There's a lot of sixes and sevens. There weren't really any eights or nines that we needed to win the game today, and that was the issue I really felt in this game today. And of course, that leads us obviously, as I said to you guys before, into a replay, which I don't think we needed, bro. Like right now, you're going to Villa Park. Going to be very tough, particularly at home there. And then obviously, particularly the run we've got, obviously I think we're facing Liverpool midweek, and then I think it's Crystal Palace, if I'm not mistaken, that we've got after that, and then you're probably going to have to face Aston Villa the week after now. So it's not helping you at all, although it just means more game time. And of course, with these young players, more game time can be key in allowing them to obviously develop further, but it's not game time that you really want at the end of the day. But it is what it is. Obviously, we've got to see what happens now. Transfer window is about to close. Obviously, Broja looks like he's on his way out. Will we be bringing a striker is going to be the key question. The other thing I think we need to also ask ourselves is, this stop-start strategy. Of course, yes, you understand that they're young players, but it's still inexcusable what's going on. So that's the other part for me that I also want to really essentialize and elaborate on at the end of the day. But again, it is what it is. Just need to be more clinical, man. It's almost like we say that about Chelsea for the last 5 years. We need to be more clinical. We need to be more clinical. We need to be more clinical. That's like the motto. But hey ho, that is the video, guys. As always, please make sure to continue to like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. As always, I've been your host, Mr. Bridge 258. In regards to any more content, probably there won't be any content tomorrow. But I think on Sunday I'll be doing a live stream, of course, where I'll be discussing some of the transfers in the Northern Chelsea and why there hasn't really been that much transfer activity. And of course, you guys can come along and discuss with me around about that too on Sunday. So that'll be probably around about, I'll do that at 6 p.m. ish because there's not that many big games, of course, coming out. So that'll be great for everyone to come along, have a chat with me, of course. And maybe if we are planning to any deadline day deals, we'll probably know by then. So hey, come on, guys, make sure to continue to tune in into that one for sure. And then obviously, I don't feel I'll do a deadline day special, by the way, because like that Chelsea's playing on that actually the deadline day, so there's no, I don't feel there'll be a deadline day special for that one at all, I'm afraid. So that's all. But again, thanks again for watching. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe. Have a nice one.